All right, well, I'm thinking today I want to show you guys some really basic slide guitar. And for that, I'm going to grab my trusty National Stacy. I'm in open G tuning, which sounds like this. So that's a low D on the E string. Then the A goes down to G. Then the D and the G and the B are the same. And then take your high E and turn it down to D. That, my friends, is open G tuning. It has many, many names. Sebastable tuning, slack key tuning. If you're on Maui like I was for the last 6 years. But I'm stoked right now because I've been really inhabiting my little studio here in Santa Cruz. And I thought today would be a good day to do some blues you can use. I've got my slide on my pinky. You can use it any which way. This is like a standard, sort of plexiglass slide. You can use metal, you can use anything. But for our purposes today, I think this will work beautifully. And so what I'm going to do is, in the service of making it really, really simple and easy for you, we're going to go from a 1, which is your open G chord. That's pretty darn easy. And then we're going to go to the 4 chord, which in this case would be a C, and it's going to be on the 5th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, understand though, it's not like when we play regular guitar where we play in between the frets. That's the way we play, right? It's how we fret. Well, with slide, what you want to do is actually land right over the fret. So if you're playing a C chord, which is in this case is a 4 chord to the open G, what you're going to do is go all the way up to the 5th fret and go right over it. And you'll hear when it sounds right. And then open. Now, one of the beautiful things about playing an open G tuning is when I go to the 5 chord and I'm going up to the 7th fret, okay, same way, I have the luxury of using that open D that I've tuned down to here. So this is kind of a cool thing to know, because if you're playing some like a blues shuffle in G and you get to your 5 chord, however you get there, lots of ways to do it, you get to hit that open D. And then, it takes a while to get the tonation right. And you got to use your ears on this one. It's not just the hands. But, if you like slide guitar, especially acoustic blues slide, that kind of thing, I do a couple of courses at jimmydillon.com that love to share with you. But in the meantime, I wanted to give you something today you could use. And, for someone who's just a beginner at slide, I think this is a good sort of way to approach it. So what I'm going to do though, I'm going to go ahead and play really slowly, and I'm going to go from the 1 to the 4, the 1 to the 5. I'll call out the chords, I'll call out the 4, the C, the D, whatever. But what's interesting to note is that, in open G tuning, whether you're Ry Cooder or Keith Richards, everybody uses it, getting to the 4 chord is nothing more than just clawing your way up here on the in this case I'm just fretting it on the 5th fret, and the 7th fret is the D. So if you know that, it helps with the application of using a slide. Okay, so this is probably the most basic. There's a couple others, and I'll show it to you. But for this purpose, I'm just going to do a slow, soft finger picking. Okay. So this would be more of like a country blues, like Mississippi John Hurt, Todd Mahal, that kind of thing. So let's just get a little groove going. And that's just a down, down, up, down, like a Travis picking kind of thing. If you don't know how to do it, don't worry. You can just strum it any which way it feels comfortable for you. And now I'm going to go to the 4 chord, which is of course the C in the key of G. So what that looks like, as I said, is you go up right here. Now I'm making it look a little easier than it actually is, because it does take some finesse to voice those notes properly. And it takes a real touch. It takes some muting here and muting here. But again, I cover all that on my slide courses at jimmydillon.com. So you're more than welcome to check them out. There's a bunch of free stuff as well. So now I'm just going to go back and forth from open G, and then I'm going to go to the C chord. You ready? Here we go up to the 5th fret. Back to the open G. Now, what you'll notice is my target note is this G note, which is the A string, but we tuned it down to G. Remember? One whole step down. That's what makes it open G tuning. So if you hit that as your target note, you're going to be safe because it's going to voice the root of the chord. And in this case, it's the key, that we're in, the G. So that's one of the reasons I love working with G tuning. And then when I slide it up, obviously to the 5th fret, now I'm hitting a C chord. That's a C, right? And then back to that open. Now here I'm going to make a little change. What I'm going to do is my target note is going to become my low D string. Well, my low D note, I should say. It's the low E string. But when you hit that, now what you've done is you said, okay, I'm at a 5. I'm hitting a 5 now, right? And you're going to have to slide up to the 7th fret. Okay, same pattern, but like I said, you get the luxury of letting that low D note ring out, which is really kind of handy if you're playing a blues. And I'll show you when I put this up into tempo, you'll get it. And then I go down to the, and notice I'm leading with that C note right there. Normally that would be a D note, but of course because we tuned down, that full step, this has become a C note, and that's why it's a 4. Okay, so G1, C4, G1 open. Now the low D note in the 7th fret. There's your D chord, it's 5. Walk it down to your C chord and open. Now, like I said, I'm making it look a little easier than it is because slide is all about touch. We talk about touch, tone, time, and taste, the 4 T's. This is, slide is, it's deceptively simple on the one hand, but it's also extremely touch sensitive. It's nuanced. So right now that I've shown you those 3 positions, now I'm going to go ahead and play a nice easy finger picking, like a loping thing, and kind of bring it around to an actual, like a form of a song, say. So I'll call out the chords for you. G. So we're just hanging out and playing a song, right? Now we're going to change to the 4 chord, which is a C. And then open up again, leading with that G note. Now I'm going to go to the 7th fret and the low D note. And then let's just go right back to the open G, rather than walk it down. Next time I'll walk it down. So now I'm going to play almost like in a folk blues form, and it'll sound a little more like a song. So you ready? Here we go. Let's go to the C chord. Back to the open G. Okay, now let's go to our D chord. And then open G. Got it? Okay, now just realize something though. When you're playing a slide, it's a whole different approach in terms of the way it lands on the strings. We're used to fretting, which is fine. But with slides, you're floating on the strings, so you have to have a certain touch. Sometimes it helps to have a little vibrato, a little wiggle on it. So that's some kind of gut buckety stuff. I get into this, you know, in detail at jimmydillon.com on my various slide courses, and I do more than just G. I do G tuning, I do E tuning, I do E minor tuning. You know, I do drop D tuning. I do one called I think we call it Wahini tuning. It's where you take this D note and go down one whole step more to a C. And I'll give you a quick example before I leave you today. Let's take that down a whole step. What's that? Okay, there it is. Whoop. Get this right. Okay, this is cool. I'll leave you with this. So if you're playing in G, okay, now I want to go to a version of a C chord. Here's one more version for you. Hit an A minor 7th form. It looks just like an A minor 7th, and then hit that low C. Isn't that pretty? That's Wahini tuning. And I do a whole course on this kind of stuff. Now you could actually slide up to the 5th fret too, and that's pretty cool. But now you've given up that 5, that D. So that's going to change everything when you get up here. But you can use it on your 4 chord. Does that make sense? And you got the blues. All right. I hope that brought a little shined a little light on slide playing, because I encourage everybody to, if you like the sound of slide, I love it personally, but I've done a lot of recording with it, and I play it live in my show. And this is my girl Stacy, signed by John Lee Hooker. That's pretty guitar. Style O. She's an oldie. Anyway, I will see you guys down the road, and hit me up with any questions or inquiries you might have in terms of what you're looking for in lessons, or in just technique, whatever you're after. I love to read the comments, and got to get them from all over the world. I was just talking about Perth, Australia the other day, and all the way from sometimes Italy, London, and then all over the States, of course. And now I'm in Santa Cruz. So anyway, we'll see you down the road.